mindset when that's not the original content.
Exactly.
It's not our culture. What I call Roman culture, people call European culture. We're talking about cultural, it depends on
Everyone is going back to
we're talking about melanated people.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Peace. Now, I'm going to just start off by saying I don't know Tariq Nasheed personally, and, I don't have any malice towards him. I am going to say, though, that I'm confused to what FBA is supposed to be and why he's the forerunner of this.
America is the birthplace for foundational Black Americans. We are not guests here. We are natives to the United States by blood, birth, centuries of unpaid labor. No other group has had a longer continuous presence in building America's infrastructure, culture, economy, legal institutions without immigrating from another place than us. We are not immigrants. We are a unique ethnic group formed on American soil.
I was inspired by his work in Hidden Colors when he talked about Moors. So I'm confused. What are we doing here?
Beethoven was called a Moor when he was growing up. Beethoven, there's a book about him called Beethoven's Hair because people were so infatuated with the texture of his hair. So that bloodline runs real deep throughout Europe. And again, he was called a Moor, and the Moors were very important throughout Europe. And it's funny, the importance of the Moor was so deep in Europe, but we rarely hear about them in history books today.
You see reference to Moors throughout African history. You see reference to Moors over here in American history.
African men who went into Europe around 711 AD, and they really civilized Europe because Europe was going through a dark age. Europe was really struggling because after the Vandals had basically destroyed Rome, everything was backwards over there. So the Moors went in and they ushered in the Renaissance era. They brought in science, mathematics, astrology. They brought all of this into Europe.
They are bringing in hot and cold running water. They are bringing in concepts of what we call a cosmopolitan city. They are lighting the streets by lamps. In Cordova, they built an entire city where the streets for miles you could walk with lamps that lit the street at night. And they had raised sidewalks where people could walk. The kings and queens of Europe lived in barns. Nobody wants to admit that. But they lived in barns. They lived with the animals. And another thing that the Africans brought in was that they said, you cannot let your chicken run around in your house, and then cows got to go outside. So they created what's called corrals. And corral is an Ethiopian word. It's a K-R-A-L sound. Corral, which is where they would put their animals after they domesticated them. Europeans let them animals run all up and down. This is where the German measles come from. This is where chickenpox comes from. Because Europeans did not have a place for their animals. They just ran all up inside their places. And they would carry, as they would get illnesses and sicknesses, they did not bathe, so therefore they had no soap, they had no disinfectant, didn't have alcohol, so that this type of style of living brought illness. When the Moors came in, they wrapped all that up along with bringing medicine. What you have happening is that these Gothic kingdoms are going to bring down, they're going to sack the Roman Empire. And after they sack the Roman Empire, they're going to take this area over for a while. And then the Moors are going to come in and they're going to push those Visigoths out. And they're going to push them more north, and they're going to chase them out of the southern part of the Iberian Peninsula. And that's where the Moors are going to inhabit from 710 until 1492, January 2nd to be exact, when the last great king, Boabdil, was chased out of Granada.
The term Moor started to become interchangeable with the term black because it was basically the same thing. But when the slave trade started, they tried to objectify, so they would use the term interchangeably and they would just switch on to calling people black. But if you look at a lot of old documents, if you look at slave records, there was even a boxer out of Virginia who was very popular in the early 1800s named Tom Molyneux, and his nickname was the Moor. So that name was definitely used interchangeably with black or Negro at that time.
Understand, we are having a cultural renaissance right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the middle of a cultural renaissance for foundational Black Americans. The renaissance is taking the world by storm. A lot of people are getting shaken up by it. A lot of people are respecting it. It's shaking the table, but that's a great thing. We're gatekeeping our culture because it's more important than ever, ladies and gentlemen. Our lineage and pride and our dignity, it's being reclaimed. We as foundational Black Americans, we're not settling for like vague generic labels of being lumped in with other groups that don't share the same history as us.
You see reference to Moors throughout African history. You see reference to Moors over here in American history.
So the Moors went in and they ushered in the Renaissance era. And it's funny, the importance of the Moor was so deep in Europe, but we rarely hear about them in history books today. They brought in science, mathematics, astrology. They brought all of this.
See, right now there's a clear movement to really identify, honor, and protect our distinct lineage. So we got a lineage based on survival, resistance, and contributions really to the core American culture itself. So it's sparking more pride, more curiosity, and more clarity, most important. We're being very clear about what the business is. And it was very important for us to have ethnic clarity. Ethnic clarity was very, very important because everybody kept trying to label us. They kept trying to put us in these powerless categories: people of color, minorities, African American. These are powerless identities that everybody can come and leech off of. We got together and said, no, we are not no generic ass category. We are a distinct people with an ethnogenesis here on American soil. That clarity is very important. We just let people come around and just say stuff and do stuff all willy-nilly. So now we're checking paperwork. Who are you, my dude? Where are you from? What do you represent? What organizations? We're not letting people take some of our cultural iconic brands and tetherize them. There's a pushback against disrespect and erasure. So we're checking everybody. We've been checking the white supremacists. Now we're checking everybody. Everybody's gonna get checked. The media, we're checking everybody. We're not letting people rewrite history.
And it's funny, the importance of the Moor was so deep, but we rarely hear about them in history books today. And the Moors were very important. Black people, Moorish people.
Politicians, Kamala, Obama, they're getting called out. You're not going to come around us doing the running man and eating greens thinking that we're going to bring you in. We're treating everybody like cultural vampires. Get your ass outside of the juke joint. We're not inviting you in. Cultural disrespect is being confronted directly. And everybody's on code for the most part. We're making it very clear who's who. And we are rejecting false inclusion narratives that we all in this together. That lie has worn thin. We're in this together when everybody can kind of capitalize off of us, when everybody can leech off of us. That's when we're all together. We all one. And we see how a lot of these groups come over here and they start benefiting from these anti-FBA policies. And they stand on the shoulders of our struggle and then turn around and then disrespect.
So this just gives credence to what I say when I tell you that we hate ourselves. And by proxy, we hate each other. So the system is set up for us to hate ourselves and separate each other, as we've been doing for a couple of millennia now, even more.
Just the basics. Prophet True Ali got us out of identifying ourselves by name or color. He said we are identified by our free national name, just like every other person is on the planet. Plain and simple. So if we reject as a national identifier, notice I'm being very specific. As a national identifier, if we're rejecting the name black as a national identifier, we also have to reject the name white, green, pink, purple, polka dots. It doesn't matter. White is not a nationality, number one. White is a social political construct. Let's not mix apples with oranges. Nationality is nationality. Ethnicity is ethnicity. If you choose to identify yourself by ethnicity or race, you get exactly what you got right now. It's just that simple. Here's a little piece of information. The American Anthropological Association openly states that the race construct, the color code race construct, is a myth. It's a myth. They made it up. What is the purpose of the myth? They made up a color code construct that places white where? Places black where? So guess what that means, people? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. If you are included or include yourself in that categorization, it's pretty simple. It's pretty logical. If a construct was made and it places those that are classified as white at the top and those that are classified as black as the bottom, and you are a partner, now follow me on this. the American Anthropological Association also states this: you don't get the mortgage or the loan or the job because you say you're black, and that there is a set of social attachments to that label. You don't get the mortgage or the job or the loan because they say you're black, and they have attached these negatives to that label. That is the real issue.
But since they've been around, the divide and conquer has been kept going. If they keep giving us names that don't really identify with who we are, and each time they do, there's a separation between us. Do you not notice what's going on? Haven't you figured the game out yet? We need to call ourselves what we choose to call ourselves and not what other people call us. And please keep in mind, we can't call ourselves erroneous things. You can't be black. Is your mother Crayola? Is your father Sharpie? Like, come on, let's stop playing. We can't call ourselves things that have no standing at law politically. We can't call ourselves things that are not a part of the human family or anything that doesn't have any scientific bearing. Let's be reasonable. Let's be intelligent.
Cultural gatekeeping, that's no longer a bad word right now. This is about self-preservation, protection, power, man. We have to protect our lineage, our legacy, and our ancestors. We're not going to let these phenomenal FBA ancestors be erased like they didn't exist, like they didn't put in work. It's up to us, the descendants of these phenomenal foundational Black Americans, to uphold their legacy. We are the culture of this country. Not only that, we are the biggest influencers of global culture. We're the most influential cultural group on the planet. See, we're going to start claiming foundational Black American creations. When we start reclaiming our FBA contributions, we are told, oh, if you say it was created by FBA, we're all one nigga. That is divisive. When you get a win, the minute you get a win, are you Haitian? When somebody commits a crime, oh, he's black, we all black. No.
These are children, and I'm going to show them the basic Adam degree, and you being a woman and a mother and governor by nature, you make sure I don't tell them something wrong. That's your job, all right? And then you either verify, clean up, or do what is necessary. But I want to show the babies, and then they'll be able to teach other children, because they're not going to get this in school. This is only given to European children or people who are rulers. It's not given to people who are followers. And understand, don't think it's just the Europeans. All your Negro leader, martyr leader guys got this stuff too, because 90% of them are 32-degree Masons. So don't let them fool you just because they don't tell you, it's the devil. Yeah, they keep you away from it. You understand? Now, this is what occurs, because this is third grade degree that I'm giving them right now. So keep this in mind. I'm giving them third grade etymon. Third grade. Both Europeans and Asiatics have been training our people that they're black people, and they insist on saying that, right? Now, I'm going to give you proof of why Europeans laugh all the way to the bank, say don't worry about them because they can't read, and they know that overseers are doing the rest of the work for them. So look up the word black, and I'm going to show you a rule, the etymon rule. I'm going to let them go through a little experiment that I always do. This is because it becomes yours. You know, like if you tell somebody something, oh, that's interesting, but you know, that brother said this. But if you show them and let them go through it, it becomes their own. That's how they're supposed to be taught. They're not supposed to be followers. They're supposed to be taught. They're supposed to be able to come back to the teacher and deliver something on their own merit. Are we clear? True education is based on merit, not followership. All right, you found it? And this is one of the reasons why the Europeans have fun referring to adult Asiatics that are called black as boys and girls, because they don't know the rules. So let's talk the rules, right, y'all? All right, now, look at this, baby. Read that again, and I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to point out to you. Go ahead. And you pay attention to this, all right?
Being of darkest.
Now, I'm going to show you something. You see this? You see this, mother? You see that right there? Right there, it's in italics, right after the word, isn't it? Why is it in italics? Because it's emphasizing, isn't it? And what does that italics point to? What is the part of speech or the matrix of that word? There it is, clear as day. It's an adjective. This is what all scholars are trained in etymology. You do not go into your linear entries knowing that sociologists have introduced connotative linguistics for social controls. So the first thing you do is separate the wheat from the chaff. The first thing you do, you plug the word in its proper matrix. It's an adjective. So even a child in the 2nd and 3rd grade knows that an adjective describes, does not identify, therefore cannot be any human being's identity without even going into the entries. See how simple that is, you all? All scholars are trained with that, because the first thing you do is plug it in its proper matrix, because you must separate the connotation from the denotation. The denotation relates to the etymon. The connotation is fad or social engineering. It's not a secret. So automatically, before we go into those entries, we already know that when it's applied to people, it is doing what? It is used as either social engineering or branding. So a scholar immediately knows that black, when applied to natural people, is a brand without even going into the entry. That quickly. That's the difference between a scholar and the students. That's what makes the imam and makes the others the bill-paying believers. That's what makes the PhD the professor and the others paying them ridiculous over and over again sessions or stuff they can learn overnight if they were taught the rules. All right? And it's best to use the children because it can't be disputed. Then we bring an adult to show the methodology, so as a mother, because women are protective anyway, as she can see for herself. But then imagine all of us going through that same little third grade grammar lesson and recognize how you've been miseducated, not just by Europeans, but by your own. These people know that you're not black. They don't doubt it. They know that you're not black. And they know that you're Moors.
Go to cdc.gov, code system concepts, do the top one. Y'all gonna type in 1237-7. This me doing it in real time, yo. So you'll go down here to the first one. It says the Moorish. You're gonna go to details. Once you get to details, you're gonna go to race and ethnicity, CDC. After you see the Moors at the top, right? So then you're gonna zoom in, and what do you see there? Good old African Americans. So for all you African Americans out there, it looks like the Moors have it for the win. We keep trying to tell y'all Moors. So we're gonna keep going. What is that? American Indian or Alaskan Native? Oh, y'all too? We got the Asians at the bottom, the Apache. What's that at the top? Black African American? Blackfoot? The Blackfeet? All of the feet and foot.
See, here's the con game that's been run on us. When these groups get a win, they hoard that win for themselves. Shout out to Jamaica. Oh, shout out to Haiti. This Ghanaian got a doctorate at Harvard. Oh, shout out to him. Ghana, stand up. When they get something, when they win, they put it over in their box. When we get a win, they also take it and put it in their box. When we get a win, we are required to share that win with them as an African group of people. Now, when we take a loss, we do something negative, it's on us. When they do something negative, it's on us. When you have an immigrant who robs a liquor store, oh, these black folk, black crime, what we gonna do about black crime? Now, it gets dumped on black. And by default, we are foundational black Americans, we are black. We are the black group by default. So when something negative gets dumped on black, no matter what ethnic group it comes from, it gets dumped on us. So they get to share all the wins and none of the damn losses. Oh, wait, what is this shit? What do you mean? If the police pull me over and they don't ask if you're FBI, we ain't doing that. Everybody hold your wins and everybody hold your losses. That's what we're gonna do. Don't let them shame you with the whole one big Negro narrative, because the days of tethering, those days are over. We're not benefiting from this. You come over here and just come up off of all of the struggle, all of the sacrifice, all of the opportunity that we put together. See, all of y'all come over here, y'all start exploiting the system that we died fighting to open for you. We were on the front line of the civil rights movement. We ain't never abandoned what we built. Despite dealing with these white supremacists with the segregation, slavery, redlining, lynching, incarceration, we still stood on business. We ain't never fled en masse to another country. We stayed, organized, rebelled, litigated, and built. We created our own damn schools, our own towns, churches, political organizations, music, food, religions, all on this damn soil. That's ownership. We made that possible for you to come over here and just pull up and have it easy.
The first nation to recognize my country was Morocco. In signing the Treaty of Tripoli, in 1796,
we found a reminder of the deep bonds that connect Morocco to the United States. No country has been a friend of the United States longer than Morocco.
You were the first nation to recognize us back in 1777.
Because they ain't told these people that they're Moors, but this doesn't feed the black agenda, so they ain't going to reveal it.
All right. The Tariq Nasheed debacle. I'm not going for it. Y'all know it. I don't need another Jesse Jackson. I don't repeat history. You guys are. CNN put out an article, and Shadow Band and a couple of other major content creators, Foundational American, he put it out last year, the CNN news review about the Ghanaians that are hired by Russians to actually cause division with us online, with the black melanated American Indian community, right? You guys have that information. You guys seen it. Y'all seen it. You seen it. But you still choose to argue with these folks online. Tariq Nasheed has told you in so many ways, he's African.
The Moors were African men who went into Europe.
Omar asked too. The thing y'all also forget is Umar and Tariq were cool. They only fell out over money and ego. They never fell out over ideology. They are Pan-African.
You see reference to Moors throughout African history?
The website initially lets you know if you have African ancestry. Those of us who are doing the genealogy and the paperwork and not spitting in the tube, we ain't finding Nan African. Those of us whose great-grandparents and grandparents are still alive, we ain't hearing about Nan African. What we are finding is a whole bunch of fucking land.
You see reference to Moors over here in American history.
Marcus, darling. Marcus Sanders, what are you doing? Why you change your name, Marcus? Why you change your name to Tariq Nasheed? You want to sound like a fundamental black American. I thought you said FBA was a lineage. Why did you trademark it then? You see, no wonder he has FBA on his lips every day, because he making money off of you. He did the same thing that the people did with the African American. He did the same thing that they did with the African American trademark. Marcus, boy, he diabolical like them Caucasian people. Yes, he trademarked FBA. He was like, yes, it's products. You know, I have certain products and services. I'm like, sounds like that African American trademark again. Sounds like that same one. Huh? And he's like, well, but it's a lineage. What do you mean? You just said it's products. What do you mean? You said you trademarked it in its products. So how is it a lineage? So the FBA lineage goes back to your products, basically. Oh my God. I can't. FBA is a trademark. So he's saying that it's a lineage when it's impossible when you have trademarked it and it's a product. It's products.
Be who you want to be, but I would rather be the truth. I don't want to be labeled anymore. You're not going to lump me in with FBA. You're not. My lineage and my bloodline cannot be trademarked. If you guys can't see a hustle, the 2030 census about how they're lumping Somalia, Nigerian, and everybody underneath black and African American. You know what that fool said? He collected a bag off y'all asses. Mind y'all was the same asses tearing each other down. He's still Pan-African, y'all. Read with comprehension and not emotion. Do your genealogy and find your family tree. Stop spitting in the tubes and following after this fool.
Now, it's clear that a political identity was forged for us close to 100 years ago. If you Google search or AI search Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Old Canaanite Temple, you'll see that we already covered this close to 100 years ago. So why we are backtracking and trying to reinvent the wheel is beyond me. So basically, what I'm saying is, if we already have a political identity or designation in society where we would be put at a higher standard, why are we still calling ourselves black anything, African American, or any of these terms that were given to us, okay, exonyms, and we're not using endonyms, the terms that we actually made for ourselves?
The original concept we're not following today.
Now that's some thought for food.